We all want to live a full life. We're all striving every day to make that happen. But we're all still struggling. It's not easy. And I think part of the problem is that we don't have a simple understanding of what life is and what will make it full. So today, I'm going to try to answer the question, how to live a full life. We only have one life to live, so it's worth trying to make the most of it. And there's lots of perspectives you can take to try to find out how to do that. And it's worth trying them all out, seeing which one is the most useful and which one will help me actually live the best life I can. For instance, I often think of my life as a journey, and closing my eyes, I can envision it on a map. You can actually see where I've gone, the trails I've taken, the dead ends I've run into. There are left turns, right turns, sharp turns, gradual turns, ups and downs, cliffs, backtracking, and loops. Lots of loops where I get stuck in the same thing over and over again, repeating the same mistakes, missing the same lessons, until I actually learn the lesson and I get out of the loop and I move on. I'm sure you've been in the same place. Maybe you're stuck in a loop now where your life feels like it's on repeat, that no matter what you do, you keep ending up in the same place. I've been there, and I'm sure I'll be there again. Anyway, in considering how to make the most of your life, it's worth asking yourself, well, what is life? Now there's scientific answers, there's philosophical answers, there's spiritual answers, and there's just poetic answers. And none is necessarily right or wrong. They can all provide some kind of insight, and they can all help you figure out how you want to interact with your own life. And as I've mentioned in a previous video, often you don't actually want the right answer. What you want is the answer that serves you. The answer I give you isn't meant to be the magical answer for everybody all the time. It's meant to be an answer to help serve you in your pursuit of a full life. Obviously, you don't have to agree with me. You can reject this idea outright. That's fine. It's up to you. But you could also consider the idea and entertain it for a little while. Even if just for the rest of this video, you consider this idea to be a good definition of what life is. And if at the end of the video you don't like it, just toss it. You're not beholden to me or anybody but yourself. So my answer to the question, what is life? Life is feeling and choice. That's it. Simple and to the point. When you sum up everything that makes up life, it's basically feeling things and making choices based on what you feel. It really doesn't matter if this answer is right or wrong. What matters is whether this answer serves you in your pursuit of a more full life. It's not going to be the right answer for every possible scenario you can think of. It's easy to find ways in which there's other nuances to life that this might not capture. But that's not the purpose of this definition. It's not to capture every possible scenario. I think it captures a lot for things well beyond humanity, even other animals and plants and whatnot. But that's not the purpose of it. So you can challenge it in all the ways you want, but the real test is whether it's useful in your life. That's when you'll know if it's worth holding on to. Now, the first thing to do with this definition of life is to ask yourself, am I expressing both parts fully? Now, if you're like me, the answer is no on both fronts. You are rejecting your emotions, dismissing them, ignoring them, and you're avoiding making choices as well. So you're not expressing either dimension fully, and you're not living fully either. I spent most of my life like that. And I think most people are that way. Frankly, I can't think of a single person that's fully feeling everything and fully making all the choices. Whether you're not feeling as much as you could, or making as many choices as you could, or both, you're actually in a great place. Because now, with this definition, you know how to make your life more full. You know how to live more. That's how this definition will serve you. So let's start down the rabbit hole. Feeling is required for life. We have to feel hungry, so we eat. We feel thirsty, so we drink. We feel tired, so we sleep. We feel lust, so we can procreate. We feel love and connection, so that we create family, raise offspring, and build community. We need to see, hear, taste, touch, smell, all so we can navigate our reality. Feeling is required for survival. It's our experience and the experience of all living things. And while we use our sense of sight to avoid predators, to find food, and to communicate, we also use it for an assortment of other things. We use it to experience life more. We use it to read. We use it to gain information. We use it to satisfy our curiosities, to look upon things that we find beautiful and attractive. We use it for so much. Seeing more is living more. Smelling more is living more. Tasting more, hearing more, feeling more is living more. A full life is one full of all sorts of experiences, and every experience involves feeling something. All of them. So far, this is probably not far-fetched, that we want to feel all the things from our senses as we can. But things get different when it involves emotional feelings. Now, we don't suppress our five senses very much. We occasionally do. When the sun's too bright, we put on sunglasses. When we want to touch something hot, we put on gloves. When we're picking up our dog's poop, we might pinch our nose. So when our senses are overwhelmed and they start to be uncomfortable or painful, we mute them. But nobody wants to give up their sense of sight or smell or feeling. We want these senses operating their maximum so we can experience our world as much as possible. Our senses tell us about our external world, but our emotions tell us about our internal world and how things are going for us. So, similar to not suppressing our external senses, we don't want to suppress our internal emotions either. Assuredly, a life of adventure, exploration, pride, shame, sadness, grief, joy, laughing, all these things are what makes life rich and worth living. We want a broad experience of emotions and deep, rich, intense emotions as well. That's what living is. You're not going to watch a TV show that has zero feeling in it. You're not going to read a book that has zero feeling in it. You're here to live your life. And a huge part of that is feeling, both external things and internal emotions. We want to feel. Now onto choice. Even when you avoid it, you're making choices. You're choosing whether or not to go to work every day. You're choosing how to get to work. You're choosing what gas station to stop at when you need gas. You're choosing what kind of food to have for lunch. You're choosing how to talk to your boss. You're choosing whether to ask for a raise. You're choosing what to do on the weekend. You're choosing what to watch on TV. You're choosing everything all day. And you're also choosing not to meet new people, and not to apply for that other job, and not to ask for a raise today, and not to go to the gym today, and not to start that new hobby, and not to start a business. You're choosing not to take that risk. You're choosing not to let others see the real you. You're choosing not to fully embrace your emotions. You're often choosing not to live. The things you choose not to do dwarf the things you choose to do. You're making most of these choices unconsciously. You're going through your life repeating the same choices you made yesterday and the day before. And because you're unconscious, you don't even realize the other choices are there at every single step. You're moving through your life making the same choices that were safe yesterday, safe the day before that, safe the day before that. You're on autopilot. If all the choices you make are automatic, then you're nothing more than a robot with feelings. And if you're suppressing your feelings, you're nothing more than a robot. It's in the conscious choices that we really come alive, that your life becomes your life. If you avoid making conscious choices, then you're not in charge of your life. You're just tagging along while life happens to you. You're not the author of your life. You're not the architect. You're just a witness to it. It's through the conscious choices that you really create the life you want. Now, I want to emphasize the difference between an unconscious choice and a conscious choice. An unconscious choice is basically automatic. You're not really choosing one thing or its alternative. You're just automatically making the decision. But a conscious choice is one where you are fully aware of the choice you're making. You're present and you know the alternatives, and you're choosing the one that best serves you, or that you at least think best serves you. That's a conscious choice. And it's there that we really shape our lives. Now, throughout this video, I've expressed that we want to make more choices to live more. But it's not really that simple. We want to make more conscious choices because that's what creates our life. Through unconscious choices, you keep surviving and you usually stay safe. But you're not creating a life. You're just subsisting on what has happened before. You stay in your loops. Your life won't be full if you're simply making unconscious choices all the time. You want to make the conscious choices. That is what fills your life up. The beauty in this definition, that life is feeling and choice, is that these two parts, they play off each other. They're not opposites. One contributes to the other. If you feel more, it'll help you make more choices. And when you make more choices, it'll present more opportunities to feel. So, whichever one you decide to strengthen, it strengthens the other one as well. Now for me, what I found out a few years ago is that I was extremely deficient on the feeling side. Now, I wasn't making choices either, but I found that the main reason I wasn't making choices is because I didn't know what choice to make. And I didn't know what choice to make because I wasn't feeling. Now, I felt things, but I was ignoring those feelings, and I was rejecting them, and I was constantly looking for distractions, so I didn't actually have to sit in the feelings and acknowledge them. By suppressing my feelings, I was living in black and white, and I don't mean in a moral sense. I mean like watching an old black and white TV. That's what my life was like. And once I actually opened myself up to feeling my emotions and fully embraced them, it was like everything turned to this vivid color, fully saturated. I was seeing things in high definition, in 3D now. And it was there the whole time. I had this filter just blocking out so much of the richness, all the color, all the depth of life. I had flattened it all to 2D because I didn't like a lot of it. And now I realize it was all precious. All of those emotions, all of those feelings, just like seeing, hearing, tasting, and smelling, all the emotions are all genuinely valuable. As soon as I opened myself up to actually embrace my emotions and feel them fully, I realized that they had always been there. I was suppressing them and keeping them under the surface because I didn't understand them and I didn't know what to do with them. But once they were out and I felt them fully, I felt more alive than ever. And I immediately started making major life decisions, completely changing the trajectory of my life. The emotions are gifts, and I appreciate every single one, even the ones that are unpleasant, that feel like pain or suffering. They're still there, informing me of my experience. And they're all helping me live a richer, more full life. Without feeling, I wasn't able to make conscious choices because I didn't have any idea what I wanted, what choice would serve me. But once I could feel, the choices were easy. When you view your life simply as feeling and choice, it makes things super actionable. Firstly, you know that you have to feel. A lot of us are on autopilot because we've shut off our feelings. The only choice we know how to make is the one that we've made before because it's safe. Your physical sensations are telling you where to go and where not to go. And your emotions are exactly the same. They're steering you in places that will serve you. But if you ignore them or reject them, you don't know where to go. And you either don't make choices, or you make choices that don't serve you. When you embrace your emotions, they inform your choices. That's how we make conscious choices, by actually feeling out the choices available to us. And through that feeling, you can understand which one serves you. And now whenever you have a problem you're facing, whether it's a problem with a coworker, a problem with your boss, whether you should leave your job, a problem with your partner, Maybe you're in the middle of a breakup. Maybe you're trying to decide if you should have children. Maybe you're trying to understand what your goal in life is. Maybe you're just extremely sad, or you're in fear all the time, or you're anxious. Whatever it is, you know that life is purely feeling and choice. So whatever the problem is, ask yourself, what am I feeling? Is there anything I'm not allowing myself to feel? Is there a choice I'm not making? Are there things I need to understand before I can make a choice? Sometimes the choice is to postpone the decision and gain more information and choose later. That's fine. You're still moving your life forward, and you've still made that choice to delay the decision. Either way, you're taking charge. You're turning off autopilot, and you're shaping your life the way you want to. And making a bad choice is fine. It's great, actually. That's how you learn. You didn't learn how to catch a ball by never dropping one. You didn't learn how to ride a bike by never falling. You didn't learn math by never making mistakes. Everything you've learned in life, you've screwed up at many times before you figured out how to do it well. So keep that mindset. Make a choice. If it's the wrong choice, that's okay. You can make a new choice tomorrow. You can always choose differently. As long as you're feeling and making choices based on those feelings, you'll figure it out. And it's okay if it doesn't go in a straight line. Few things ever do. Life is happening every second. Feel more and make more conscious choices, and you'll live more. In a future video, I'll go over what happened in my life that changed it from black and white and emotionless to colorful and enriched by emotion and feeling. It wasn't easy, but everything changed, and I'm more alive than ever. And one of the major choices I made after that was that the purpose in my life is going to be to help other people have a similar experience, to open up and embrace their emotions, and create a vivid, fulfilling life. So, if you like that idea, join me on this journey. You can like this video, subscribe. If you have any thoughts to share, put them in the comments. I'd love to hear how people interpret this video. And if you like this definition, use it in your life. See how it works. And if you don't, let it go. That's all for today. We'll see you soon.